It's Expo London, and I'm here with Steve Griffiths of Northview Group, that is Kensington and New Street.
Indeed.
Hello, how are you doing?
How you doing?
So the Bank of England recently said it was concerned about levels of consumer debt. What can intermediaries do to help those burdened with that debt?
I think most of all it's really about making sure the customers understand their long-term picture in terms of if they're utilising a remortgage, for instance, to maybe restructure some of their finances. And I think sometimes you have to remember that perhaps if people are struggling somewhat and maybe sort of being inputted by some financial stress at that stage, it's really just about making sure that the intermediaries understand that any credit impairments that those customers may have come across can really affect the product choice for customers, and very much really just understanding that maybe how that affects affordability decisions, and I suppose really getting closer to lenders that really have the ability to look at the whole case rather than just a high-level credit score basis.
Okay. What support are you giving to first-time buyers at the moment?
So first-time buyers, most recently we've launched into the Help to Buy equity loan scheme. We launched that in July of this year. So that really gives a lot of first-time buyers, that first step on the ladder, especially if they're restricted in the amount of deposit they can put into that property. And that's really widened the product choice for customers that maybe that market has been traditionally catered for by the high street lenders.
Yeah.
And more
so one or
recently,
two non-prime around.
Absolutely. Yeah. So if you don't fit the standard mould, then hopefully there's a few choices for customers looking to purchase in that sector.
Is there enough choice out there at the moment for the self-employed? I mean, it's something you've been talking about for a couple of years, it feels like, but how do you assess it yourselves with the rest of the market?
I think it's still an area where there probably is more stringent guidelines through the mainstream lenders, and I think that the type of self-employment has changed, and there's been lots of more diverse types of self-employment coming into the market, so seeing more types of maybe doing more of a hybrid role as a contractor maybe. So it's really just being able to assess those kind of situations, as well as just kind of those real life, not just somebody being self-employed, but recognising that there might be some fluctuations in their income. There may be people who have recently, very recently started up their businesses and are actually looking to progress their sort of financial journey from that point. And with all of those, that doesn't really match up to maybe a mainstream lender's criteria or assessment of a case. So you perhaps need that manual underwrite to get under the skin of the case, look at the accountant's situation, look at the bank statements, and really make a more holistic decision on the whole of the case.
The PRA rules have come into force, obviously, this month. How has that affected the propositions for both New Street and Kensington?
I have to say, thankfully it's been a pretty smooth transition. Obviously we've got two brands in that market, so we're really looking to cater for both sides of the portfolio market, with New Street taking some of those smaller portfolios of up to 10 properties, Kensington doing the more complex situations with much larger portfolios on an unlimited basis. And we really put a lot of effort into trying to minimise the workload for brokers and their customers that are in that space. So things like utilising the customer's own portfolio spreadsheet, and looking to make things as easy as possible within that transition. So yeah, all in all, it's gone pretty well.
So on that subject, do you always plan to keep the New Street and Kensington brands separate with sort of issues like this?
Yeah, so there's two very different propositions. We actually go and talk to brokers about them side by side now with our, their business development team and our business development unit. The brands really complement each other well. They do two separate sets of criteria and are really aimed at two different customer bases. So yeah, absolutely, we're fully committed to those having the two brands.
Do you think you need to do more perhaps to get that message out there and how the two brands are sort of different?
Yeah, I think we do that. Likewise at today's event, you'll have a stand with two brands out there, and when you see them both side by side, it's easier to talk through on a one-to-one basis. But yeah, that's something we work on a lot.
All right, thanks.
Okay.
It's good to catch up. Cheers.
All good. Thanks a lot.
Thanks.